After Vietnam, I volunteered to fly for MAC, that is Military Airlift Command. And then the C-5s came on the program. I volunteered to fly the C-5, and that was the world's largest transport aircraft at that time. And for 3 years, I'm just flying back and forth to Vietnam. That was so beautiful to get to go to Vietnam and unload, and you boys got it, and I'm going back. After 3 years, we come to October 1973, Yom Kippur Day, the most holy day in the Israeli calendar. And they were all off duty, they were on vacation, and they were attacked. They were attacked from the north by Syria, they were attacked from the south by Egypt, and they were really getting shellacked. That night, Golda Meir called our president, and she says, President Nixon, if you don't help us, Israel will cease to exist. This was her words. Of course, I didn't know about that in the middle of the night, but the next morning my phone was ringing. And next thing I know, I'm with 2 C-5s heading for Israel. Our orders were to fly to Lodges Air Force Base. That's in the Azores. It's about 400 miles off of Spain, Portugal. Land, refuel, and you'll get a briefing. So the two of us, we landed, refueled, and we went in for a briefing. Well, this briefing is from a 1-star general. So pay attention, this is serious. That 1-star general said, you don't fly over any Muslim country. He said, you fly to the Rock of Gibraltar and fly right down the middle of the Med. Okay, so we go out and both of us start our engines, and the other one's supposed to be first. They had the ALSI crew and some colonels and stuff on board. And I sat there and waited 20 minutes. Well, the whole world was watching us. They was watching when America was going to start supporting Israel. And we was under pressure, and they said, go ahead. 0461, that was me, and they were 006. Go ahead and go. So we went. We went to the Mediterranean, and again, I prayed all the way down the Mediterranean. We were 200 miles out, and an Israeli fighter came up on each wingtip, just like that. Wow, you could see those boys, they just smiled at us. I landed, they pulled off. As the C-5 would kneel, it would kneel straight down, it would kneel forward, it would kneel aft. And as soon as we got that airplane, we knelt it forward, and an Israeli tank crew ran in and jumped on that M60 tank, and they were out the door and headed for the front, just like that. And then all that, and then we had an M60 tank and the rest of it, tons of 105 millimeter ammunition, which Israel was so short on 105. They were running out of it, and they were short on tanks. Operation Nickel Grass. I walked to the tail of my airplane, and I looked off to the northwest, and I knew there was 14 141s following us, and there they were. There was a line coming in. And I said, our president and Operation Nickel Grass has saved Israel, has saved Israel. Well, for the next 6 weeks, I made 6 trips to Israel. I mean, Carolyn had 2 little girls, and she was a public health nurse for the state of Delaware. But I mean, I came home, and all my clothes was always ready to go.
You go. Good job, Carolyn.
Air Force had 80 C-5s, and they made 145 trips to Israel, those 80. And we carried the majority of the material for Operation Nickel Grass. And I made 6 of those trips. And I never researched, I don't know if anybody made more than 6, I don't know. But that's the story, that's the career the Lord let me have in the military. Just an average guy, praying to my Lord. Love you all. That night that Golda Meir called our president, If you all remember this story, but here's the story. Richard Nixon grew up a Quaker, and his mother told him, you will have an opportunity in your life to help Israel. And when you do, you help them, son. Wow. Praise the Lord.